Kevin, how's it going?
I'm doing good, Sully. How are you today?
Pretty good, man. Courier Post takeover for the next 20 minutes or so.
Yes, I think you had McGarry on right now. Get rid of McGarry. Now you got the CP taking over. So it should be a very entertaining next couple of minutes.
The main event is here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like you said, we just had Mike on talking about the game Monday between Barnegat and Gloucester Catholic. Give me your take on that game. Obviously, one of the coolest high school baseball events in years. I mean, 6,000 people raised tens of thousands of dollars for charity. What an awesome event, and I hope we see some more of that kind of stuff in the coming years.
Yeah, it was really it was the best high school baseball game as far as the atmosphere is concerned and the purpose of the game that I think I've ever been to. I think a lot of people anticipated maybe 3,000-4,000, but by the time that game started, if you had been to the Campbell's Field before and to maybe some River Sharks games, you know what the place was like, and this place was packed except for the suite level up top, and people were hanging around the concourse, much like they hang around the fence at a high school football game. So, I mean, it was absolutely a dynamite night. I think the purpose of the game was met. Both pitchers were fantastic. You couldn't have asked for a better couple of hours down there. They raised some serious amount of money for both of the charities, and like I said, the pitchers did not disappoint. So it was a very, very good night for South Jersey high school baseball.
Now, how tough is that as a sports reporter? You get done your interviews after the game, you're kind of running back to your computer. The editor gives you 15, 20 inches to work with. You could go on for 2,500 words if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was the kind of game where you could, I took the perspective, I kind of took the game itself out of the equation for the most part and really wanted to focus more, from my perspective on the event itself and the fact that, you look out there and there's better than 6,000 people for a high school baseball game, and and the amount of people that were there, to cover the event, there were national people there. There were Major League scouts packed behind home plate. The Phillies sent 3 executives over. So, like I said, for me, it was more about the event than the game itself. And like I said, just a great night for high school baseball. Was
Tim Kirchin there?
Tim Kirchin was not there, but Jonathan Mayo from MLB.com was. So
really?
Yeah, like I said, it was, I think when Jason Groom takes the mound, it brings out that kind of people, and he's going to probably pitch, I guess, maybe at least 2 more times this season. So, if when we get to the tournament, if the brackets hold up and the days are like they say, Jason Groom's going to pitch it. Jason Groom could be pitching at West Deptford in a week or so. So, Union Field at West Deptford could get a real nice crowd that night that afternoon as well. So, like I said, Jason Groom's a special kind of kid. I don't know that the Phillies are going to draft him number 1 in the draft come June 9th, but obviously when just to go to a game and watch him pitch, it is a real it's real entertainment for the fans, and I think both teams kind of get themselves geared up when there's that many people watching.
Kevin, what's your impression of these guys as young men, Jason Groom and Tyler Mondial? A lot of attention on these guys, and that can be tough for a kid who's 17, 18 years old. They seem to be handling it pretty well. You've had some dealings with these guys this year. What's your impression of them as young men and really handling what's not a typical situation for your everyday teenager?
No, I think, obviously Jason's getting far more attention than Tyler is. Jason's getting 25, 30 scouts minimum every game he pitches. Tyler's getting the scouts, but maybe not to that magnitude. I think both kids are handling it exceptionally well. They have the same advisor. They're both, if it was me, I'd be soaking up this time as well. I wouldn't try to, be a hot shot about it. I wouldn't try to make more of it than it is, but I'd enjoy the moment. And I think both of these kids are doing exactly that. They'll tell you that, they're not paying attention to the scouts or they're not paying attention to the fans, but they're looking around a little bit. It's human nature. But I think both kids have really done an exceptional job of maintaining their composure, handling all the requests that people in the media have for them. For it's just you say you only want 5 or 10 minutes, but if 20 people want 5 or 10 minutes, it starts to add up. So I think, like I said, I think both of these kids are really handling extremely well.
Talking with Kevin Minnick of the Courier Post about high school baseball. Kevin, wanted to break down some of these groups real quick. I was talking to Mike McGarry and kind of labeled non-public A, the group of death, like you might hear in World Cup talk. St. Augustine, Bishop Eustace, Gloucester Catholic, Camden Catholic, CBA, Red Bank Cat. I mean, this bracket is just completely loaded.
This bracket's completely loaded every year, and it's no secret that it's the usual suspects. And I think when it breaks itself down, the best teams are going to rise to the top. This is a kind of a bracket where there may not be one clear-cut team, and like I said, year in and year out, it's the same teams. It's maybe a different order. But, usually these are the teams that everybody will see.
In the South Jersey brackets, any particular bracket really stand out to you as one you're going to be keeping a close eye on and could have some real interesting games?
Well, I got to keep my eye on all four, Sully, because, I'm objective like that. But, four has always been the strongest one for me because there's so many really, really good teams top to bottom in the bracket. And if you look at Group 4, you got a team like a Clearview, the top seed right now, has had an absolutely sensational season. They've got, I believe they have 5 Division I kids on their roster, and expectations were high. And sometimes when expectations get high, teams find little things here and there that kind of cost them. But Clearview's played extremely well all season. They're going to get a chance to play at home throughout the tournament, and that's a huge benefit. And like I said, Group 4 is solid. I mean, you have a defending team, a team that went to the state championship last year in Williamstown's back. You've got Olympic American teams scattered throughout this tournament, and then you've got a first round game between Eastern, the Olympic American champion, as a 9 seed, going to Toms River North, an 8 seed for the first round. And these are two teams that have been considered pretty much among the state's elite all season long, and here we have a first-round matchup. So, I think Group 4 is going to be an absolutely solid tournament to watch. Not that the others aren't, but, 4, I think, when you look top to bottom, I think 4 may have the best teams, 1 through 16.
I'll tell you, Kevin, a really interesting group to me is South Jersey Group 3. Some really cool storylines. I mean, you have Mainland, which has won that section the last 2 years. Ocean City comes in as the number 1 seed with 3 really good starting pitchers. And teams like Highland and Delsea have really been denied the last couple of years in this tournament, by Mainland. So they've got a lot to play for. And, you could have a potential Ocean City Mainland matchup on that side of the bracket. And, teams like Timber Creek in there. So really an interesting group to watch out for.
Yeah, 3's pretty good. You mentioned Highland. Highland earns 2 seed. They're red hot. They've won, I believe, 9 in a row, and maybe I think it's 12 of their last 13. And they've got themselves. Not that it's an easy road, but they get an opportunity to play their games at home on one side of the bracket. And like you said, Ocean City Mainland, if things were to play out, would clash together in a semifinal. But the thing with Ocean City right now that kind of surprises me is maybe a little bit of some inconsistency when Sean Mooney's not on the mound. I don't go to every game. I've only seen them pitch. Well, I've seen Sean pitch once this year. He was absolutely fabulous, lights out. But they seem to lack. I don't know. I don't know whether it's they don't have the same confidence when he's not on the mound. But there's some inconsistencies there. And then you look at Mainland, and Mainland's kind of struggled in this last week and a half, 2 weeks. They are the 2-time defending champion, and you have to give them an awful lot of respect. But they've lost some games maybe in these last 2 weeks that most people thought they wouldn't lose. So heading into the playoffs, you really want to be playing. You really want to be playing your best ball, to be quite honest. But I don't know that Mainland's been doing that right now. But I give Mainland just looking at the bracket. I think Mainland can at least get to the semifinal. I think Ocean City gets to the semifinal. If by any chance the weather cooperates and Mooney gets to pitch on a Tuesday, that's a big deal, Mooney Tuesday. So
right.
I think that, like I said, I think Ocean City can reach a final, but I'd like to see a little bit more consistency out of them.
Kevin, one group we didn't really touch on with McGarry was South Jersey Group 1. What are Wildwood's chances in that group?
I think Wildwood coming in as a 3 seed. I think they get to the sectional final. They've played some of these teams already on their side of the bracket, and Wildwood is they took that hit with Brendan Bean, but I think they're good enough, even without Brendan Bean, that they can get to the sectional final again this season. Just looking at the bracket, I think if it played itself out, I kind of think they'll match up with Pennsville again, and they've had 2 games with Pennsville during the regular season in the Tri-County Classic, so obviously there'll be no secrets there. And Chris Mormley has really done a real nice job throwing the baseball and leading this team, in the recent weeks. So I think Wildwood's got a legitimate shot to get to the sectional final again.
Is Pennsville one of those teams we can put on a little bit of an upset alert? I mean, you're looking at the 2-15 game, but going against Penns Grove, and that's really one of those kind of rivalries that they might have to watch out Pennsville a little bit in this first round game.
Yeah, I mean they're rivals. The towns border each other. All the kids know each other, and and I like you said, an error here, one run here, one run there, and you have yourself a kind of an upset. But I think Pennsville, that's a team that traditionally has been very strong. They've got plenty of kids with playoff experience, and I think barring anything kind of crazy, I think Pennsville will be fine. But like you said, you got to play the game. You got to play each inning. And, a couple of walks here, one run there, and it's a whole different deal. But I think Pennsville's solid enough that they can get to that semifinal.
Good stuff, Kevin. We're up against the break. Got to let you go, but we'll check in with you next week and talk more about high school baseball, and we'll see what happens this week.
Hey, anytime, and you enjoy the next couple minutes with Mark Tribble. He's very good.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right. Have a good weekend, buddy.
All right. Thanks again. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. It's Kevin Minnick of the Courier Post.